New for the 2019 season was Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, but also is a ride which opened to much hype and also controversy over at Universal Orlando's Islands of Adventure theme park. Just a quick warning for those who haven't yet ridden this ride. I will be mentioning some spoilers in this review, so if you don't want to hear about what happens on this ride, you may not want to give this video a watch. But for those who don't mind, the ride was manufactured by Intamin, has a height of around 65 foot, a speed of about 50 miles per hour, a backwards section, a freefall dark drop section, and a massive 7 launches. And although we've seen all of these elements separately before on many attractions around the globe, teaming all of these elements together creates an incredibly unique, adrenaline-filled, packed full to the brim experience, which really doesn't let up until the very end. The 7 launches are a world's first for any coaster, and it almost feels like a breath of fresh air. I'm very happy that for this particular Harry Potter experience, which sends riders into the Forbidden Forest through a series of twists, turns and drops, Universal decided to stay away from the screens and 3D technology that they've previously relied on, and instead given us an actual roller coaster which doesn't rely on those elements. I don't particularly have an issue with screen-based attractions, but Universal have been opening a lot of them recently, so it was just very nice to see that they gave us something a little bit different this time around. With this ride, there are no doubts in my mind that the thrills are non-stop and jam-packed for the 3 minutes, from start to finish. Riders get the choice of whether they wish to ride on the motorbike or the sidecar. I've rode both, and personally I prefer the motorbike, mainly because I feel as though the motorbike gives you more airtime and you seem to be able to feel the forces of the ride a bit more. The sidecar is not a bad experience by any means, but it does seem like the sidecar offers the slightly tamer experience when compared to the motorbike. The ride is home to a few different animatronics. One in particular that stood out to me was the one of Hagrid himself, which you can see near the beginning of the ride. You'll have to look quick though, because you don't get to see him for very long. The story of this ride is very fitting to what we would expect from a ride revolving around Hagrid. However, that isn't really a surprise, considering Universal explained that the story was to be at the forefront with this attraction. Not only is there a story in the queue line in the pre-show, but the story continues on throughout the ride itself. This is something that all attractions in the Harry Potter areas of the parks seem to do very well, and I'm very glad that Hagrid's is no different. I will say this, Hagrid's is a great ride to experience in the dark. Myself and my mum rode it late one night and it was fantastic. It's definitely a nighttime ride. Saying that though, the ride isn't bad when riding it during the day, but I do think that the dark of the night emphasises on the story more, and it makes the Forbidden Forest idea seem more realistic. Riding in the dark showcased the thrill aspect of the coaster even more for me. It's great to see that such a beloved side character from the Harry Potter franchise has been given his own attraction, and after seeing what Universal have done with this, I'm intrigued to see what will happen in later installments in the parks. Saying all of that though, the ride has its downfall. It appears to be an incredibly temperamental coaster, with Universal Orlando often having to close the attraction because of technical issues. And then when the ride is up and running, it does reach capacity rather quickly. There's no doubt that Hagrid's is popular, and by the sounds of it, it will continue to be popular for a long time yet, so be prepared to wait in line for this ride if you want to get yourself on it. At the time of recording this video, Universal tend to open Hagrid's later than the rest of the park, and then close it down for the day at around 3 PM in the afternoon, earlier than the rest of the park. Sometimes they have opened it again for nighttime rides, but I think that is just luck with where you are in the park and if you can get on it for a night ride or not. So please, if you're really wanting to give this coaster a try, bear that in mind. Unfortunately, because that's what Universal are currently doing with Hagrid's, I found that the already extremely crowded Hogsmeade area of the park has become even more crowded and uncomfortable since Hagrid's has opened up. as many people will hang around and form a line around the entrance and beyond the entrance too, just to try to ride this coaster. I know that Universal could be operating the ride in this way on purpose in order to try to spread the crowds a little better, but if that is their true intentions with why they're doing that, then it isn't really working at all, because people will wait for this ride, and people will wait hours for this ride too. For example, when I was over in Florida, Universal had literally just opened Hagrid's for the day, and I overheard a family near the front of the line talking to a staff member about how they'd been waiting in line since the beginning of the Universal on-site guests extra ride time period. So this particular family had been waiting in line from around 7:30 in the morning to about lunchtime, so either 11 or 12. That is dedication to ride the Hagrid's ride. The longest I've ever waited in line ever for any ride was 3 hours, but that was for a coaster here in the UK on its opening weekend, not for a ride which has already been open for a few months. Seriously, the ride times can get a little bit crazy for this ride. There are a couple of sections of this ride that I would change ever so slightly. There's a sequence near the beginning of the ride which enables riders to see the large animatronic of Hagrid himself, along with what I believe is called a blast-ended Scroot, but please correct me if I'm wrong with that. I don't believe that they made an appearance in the Harry Potter films, but I think they did get a mention in the book or one of the books. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. In my opinion, the ride, although it does break previously to this scene, it's still going a little bit too fast for my liking, as I still found it quite hard to really take in what was happening. So that section in particular could really benefit from just being slowed down a little bit more. Also, if I was to be really picky, the pre-show seems to happen far too early within the queue line itself. I don't know, but it just seems a little bit out of place where it currently is, but that can't be changed, so I won't dwell on that too much. But they are both only really small critiques that in no way damage the experience of this ride. Overall, I think this attraction's unique, it's thrilling, it's immersive, and I think it's proven to Universal that there's still a demand for physical roller coasters within their parks, rather than, all of the screen-based stuff that they've been doing a lot of lately. If you rode this ride not having looked into the full details of it, the amount of launches and the dark indoor free fall drop section would really probably take you by surprise. Out of 10, I would personally give Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure an 8 out of 10. It's a solid addition to the Harry Potter universe, and it brings Hagrid to life along with all of the magical creatures. However, the fact that Universal do seem to have a lot of technical issues with it does let it down a little bit. I really hope that Universal continue to impress and improve with the experiences that they offer though. This is a fantastic start, especially after, the Fast and Furious ride that is just... in my opinion, that ride is so bad. But anyway, that's for another day. So that is it for today's video. Have you rode Hagrid's? Let me know what your thoughts were on it in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave this video a big thumbs up. And if you are new here, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope to see you in my next video.